One of the numerous tragedies of slavery is that it destroys, dilutes and degrades a population's native culture. Their unique ways and facets are lost as they are dispersed across the galaxy, and what's left is often blended with other cultural heritages of various sources. Such is the case with the inhabitants of Ryloth, the Rylothian Twi'leks. Rick here, and today we're looking into a culture from our first Star Wars race, the varied and popular Twi'lek. Ryloth is a planet of few resources, and as such the people have evolved to cope with its sparse food reserves. A Twi'lek has two stomachs, and the tendrils on their head, known as leku, store energy in much the same way as a camel's hump, though nearer the base they contain clusters of nerves. This meant that it's easy for a Twi'lek to become overweight, as their bodies are adapted to store as much food as possible for the tough times ahead. Culturally, this means that having a bit of extra weight is often considered attractive due to the connotations to an ample food supply. Ryloth's surface is one of jungles, arid plains, great valleys and not much water. Great winds often rip across its surface, whipping up sandstorms and punishing heat waves. Native Rylothians live in fortified city structures across various provinces, each with its own governing body of local family clans. The planet as a whole maintains a token political presence on the galactic stage, with an ambassador on the Senate. The capital city is called Lesu and acts as the cultural centre of the planet, where the ruling bodies of Ryloth often convene through representatives of each clan. The Twi'lek themselves speak Twi'leki, which incorporates the conscious movement of their leku to aid in communication, much as the same way as a wave to signify hello. They have a wide variety of skin tones, from beige, yellow, pink, green, and the rarest of colours, blue and red. Physically, the Twi'lek people are of humanoid form and two genders. The males have pointed teeth, while the females have cone-like structures on the head that function as ears. They often have robust physiques, even when appearing emaciated due to Ryloth's harsh environments, and their efficient digestive system means that they require little in the way of nourishment to function. For this reason, they have been exploited as slave labour repeatedly throughout their history, despite the practice being illegal in many Republic worlds. The females of the galaxy are often selected for the simple reason that their looks are coveted by many races of the galaxy, and due to this exploitation, the Twi'leki people are often found across the galaxy in all avenues of life, having descended from slaves or traded labour for travel off-world. I say traded for travel, as when they were first discovered, they'd not yet invented hyperspace flight for themselves and relied on other species to traverse the galaxy. This leads to much cultural assimilation on their part, as even those who are not, or ever were, slaves, adapt to their new circumstances, losing many aspects of their heritage and culture in favour of survival. As sad as this is, it has allowed them to survive and even thrive outside of their home system, making the fact that they are so widespread means that the Twi'lek have, as mentioned, adapted into their new locations, though this is true of many cultures in the Star Wars galaxy. It shows how adaptable the species truly is. They will utilise anything that will give them an advantage in their immediate environment. For example, during the Clone Wars, they rode beasts called blurgs? Blurg? Fine, I guess. Name your epic steed after flatulence. Anyway, they rode these creatures into combat due to the lack of technological resources at their disposal. Tracing a family's lineage and ancestral lines seems of great importance to a Twi'lek community, and can be seen in the significance placed upon the heirloom known as a calicori. This intricate, ornamental sculpture was of little value in terms of raw materials used, often simply wood, rope and paint, but its true value is that of sentimentality, as each calicori was a unique picture of a family's history. Each generation adds to the design, leaving it more intricate than before. Now, as a culture whose familial descent is often interrupted by the outside forces of slavers, a relic such as a calicori would be an incredibly precious possession, a link back to generations long past. In fact, the word calicori derives from the Twi'leki term for beginning, showing the intent of the item as an ancestral ornament. The choice of a tactile ornamentation over a more practical timeline, or record, goes to show the cultural relevance of art in their lives. Mosaics, sculpture, needlework, accompanied by performance art such as traditional dance, are seen throughout the species. Due to the hot weather, often Twi'leks are seen wearing loose-fitting robes of natural colours. The browns and beiges seen throughout their outfits' pigments suggests they lack dyes, or at least the colour is reserved for paintings or wealthier Twi'lek families who can import such commodities. It's not uncommon to see a Twi'lek wearing headgear of various designs that often wrap around the leku. These used to denote status and position in their society, but seem to have since merely evolved into simple headgear. Upon meeting a stranger for the first time, it's customary for a Twi'lek family to exchange gifts, and the meeting of several clans is marked by a celebration, though this sort of revelry is harder to come by in the latter years of the Empire. Although being a welcoming species at their core, their encounters with other races in the lawless Outer Rim have left them defensive and ready to fight back. Relics from their homeworld also suggest that many years ago the tribal nature of the Twi'lek prided itself on the abilities of its warriors. This tenacious streak can be seen most recently in their aiding of the rebel cause against the Empire, but also of note is their repeated attempts to force the Hutt presence off of Ryloth, whose criminal activities exported many of Ryloth's cultural artifacts and dwindling resources. Due to their background with slavery, the Twi'lek are often seen on the sides of a conflict opposing oppression, siding with the Republic against the Separatists during the Clone Wars, and then the New Republic post-Yavin. During the time of the Galactic Empire, they were technically a protectorate of the Empire, but many allied with the rebellion when it became apparent that the Empire would treat them little better than a commodity. They even formed their own cell, known as the Free Ryloth movement, whose tactics were designed to be as aggressive as possible to drive all Imperial presence from their homeworld. The Twi'lek overall have become a divided species. Those who are native to Ryloth still cling to an ailing homeworld that has been beset by war and harsh environments for thousands of years. Their natural resources, cultural heritage, and even populace are often exported both with and against their will. Then there are those Twi'lek who have lived outside Ryloth for many years, and have forged their own lives in the greater galactic smelting pot of cultures. Both may be seen as important, but I can't help but wonder, which would I find preferable? To abandon your culture in favour of a life under your control, or to cling to a homeworld which is often pillaged in the hopes of maintaining what is rightfully yours? Thanks for watching this Cultural Index. This was the first Star Wars race we've tackled, and as such I'm a little curious to see what I've missed. How'd we do? Most of this video comes from current canon with light sprinklings of relevant Legends materials. So, the next index is going to have a Trek theme again, with either one of the Xindi races, the reptilians, or the more identifiable primates. As usual, like the appropriate comment to cast your vote, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching again, and goodbye.